This next presenter, what do you say about Hope Kane? I love me some Hope. I love me some Hope. Our paths crossed in Southern Maryland, where we were stationed. I'm going to stick to the script because I'll end up crying too. But I've known Hope for several years. And I feel extremely blessed that our paths crossed. This amazing, funny, real talk, beautiful sister queen is a mom of 3 phenomenal children. One that is here today, Stephanie. Retired Navy veteran, retired senior chief, whoop whoop. Yeah. Serial entrepreneur, and overall awesome friend. And again, I cannot say enough about Hope Kane. I call her Hope Kane because Kulaszewski is just too much for me. Yes. Hope is a change champion who wants to see people prosper in all aspects of their lives. She has multiple businesses, and please mingle and network with her. Although Hope brings so much to the table, she has a heart to end the stigma around depression. If you attend, which you are now, the Unstoppable Conference here, Hope will transparently and authentically bring awareness to mental health. If you could please put your hands together and welcome Hope to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How do I follow Mr. Douglas? I don't know, but I'm gonna try my best. And getting myself together because Miss Jenna was making me cry. Sometimes when people talk about you, it doesn't sound like they're talking about you. I have to get used to it. So today I wanted to talk to you about depression and what it looks like, and I'll just give you a brief history of how I ended up being on this journey. It was 2013. I was stationed in Jacksonville, Maryland. If you were to put my 2013 on a piece of paper, it was a perfect year. In March of 2013, I hit my 20th birthday. And we all know once you hit the 20-year mark, you can retire. So that was my first goal. In May of 2013, I finished my dual master's program. In June of 2013, my oldest daughter graduated from high school and I got promoted to senior chief. In September of 2013, I got selected as a brand new senior chief to lead the chief season for the whole base. In November of 2013, I met a guy, had my checklist, get all the checks. In December of 2013, I walked into mental health at a clinic and these words came out of my mouth. I think I'm going crazy. The young sailor that was sitting across from me laughed, and I laughed. He said, "Senior, are you serious?" I said, "Yes, I think I'm losing my mind." Now, when I look back through the year of 2013, what I noticed was I was excited for like a brief second after every accomplishment. It did not last. I didn't know why. I'm like, okay, being an overachiever, I might just have to add some more stuff to my plate. But when I said those words, that I felt like I was losing my mind and I was going crazy, I really felt that way. So I had to make a decision. Do I pick a military doctor or a civilian doctor? Now I'm a senior chief for 20 years in the military. And most of the military doctors are brand new to the military. And I said, no, I don't want a military doctor that's going to judge me. I'm a senior chief in the Navy with 20 years. I should have my stuff together. So I picked a civilian doctor, which ended up working out well. What they did was give me an appointment 3 weeks later. Now, I walked myself in, which meant they should have immediately done an assessment on, they did not. Well, like Ms. Jen said, with every situation, you have to find what's going to change. So what I did was, I talked to the medical, and I said, listen, I'm a senior chief. I walked in here, checked myself, and what if I was an E1? And you give me a sheet of paper that says, come back in 3 weeks. What if I was at my last weekend? What's gonna happen? I had all the numbers they gave me. So 3 weeks later, I met the doctor. She was okay, and I had this conversation with her. I've been to therapy before. And if you're gonna be one of those therapists that says, okay, what do you think about that? I don't want you, because I have already spent days and nights thinking about it. I want you to have an honest conversation with me. I want you to tell me if I'm really losing my mind. If I'm going off track, I want you to tell me. Do not sit here across from me and say, okay. So what would you like to do about it? I'm here for solutions. Give me some. That's your job, right? So we started off with this course of talking about what was going on in my life. But again, being the kind of person I am, I had already done the list, listed everything that was going on, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I couldn't find anything. Financially, I was doing okay. It was going okay. Met this amazing guy, which, by the way, met him in November, didn't go out with him until February. Because again, I didn't want to be bothered. Because everything was in my head. So, started the course of talking what was going on. First, it was, you have too much on your plate. I said, no, actually, my plate is light. So that's not it. Are you having family issues? I'm Nigerian. We always have family issues. So that was okay. What about your relationship at work? I was a senior chief. Who was going to bully me? I was good. That's not it. So we talked for the first year. And she said, one day she said, I think you're depressed. I said, no, I'm not. I don't have anything to be depressed about. My life's good. I'm good. She's like, no, I think you're showing signs of depression. No, I'm not. I'm just tired. I had a long night. Maybe I just need some sleep. She said, when you sleep, do you stay asleep? I said, no, because I'm thinking about stuff. Okay. I was ashamed to say that I was depressed, because looking at my life, there was nothing to be depressed about. And that is one of the stigmas that comes with depression. People look at you and say, why are you upset? Why are you depressed? You got nothing to be depressed about. Your life is good. What's the matter with you? But mentally, I was screaming. I would go to work and sit in my car. I would take a selfie, send it to my coworkers who were all sitting enlisted, and say, I'm here, but I'm not coming in. I just could not fathom dealing with people. And Ms. Jen will tell you, I'm a people person. I can talk to anybody, doesn't matter where I go, but I didn't want to deal with anybody. I wanted to deal with myself. I went on for another 6 months. I knew I wasn't doing good. I went from being a super sailor to not even doing anything at all. My work was falling behind. I decided I was only going to work on Fridays. So my coworkers knew that if you give me the work on Friday, it's going to be done by Monday. But Monday through Thursday, I'm not going to lie to you, I did absolutely nothing but sit at my desk. My coworkers, knowing who I was, knew something was wrong. But they were afraid to ask me what was wrong, because again, either I snapped and said nothing is wrong, or I just stopped crying. Now, you know, when you see a senior enlisted person in the military cry, you know something's really wrong, because we don't cry. So they would give me my work for Fridays. I would get it done by Monday, and I was good. And one day, one of my coworkers was talking. and the sound of his voice drove me crazy. In my head, I was screaming, "Shut up, shut up." It was in my head. The guy, because we all worked in cubicles, the guy behind me was talking to him. So I emailed him and I said, "Stop talking to him because I'm losing my mind." He thought I was joking, so he kept talking to him. Now, I visualized choking the life out of him. And it was at that point I knew I had crossed over. It was no longer about me. It was about the people around me. First, I held everybody hostage at work. They didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know what to say to me. I was just there. Now I'm thinking about choking somebody. So luckily, it was on a Monday, Tuesday, I had an appointment. I tell my counselor, I think I'm really losing my mind at this point. She said, "Well, let's revisit that whole depression thing. Because when you're depressed, sometimes you don't care about you. And if you don't care about you, you definitely don't care about nobody else." So I said, but his voice was annoying. So I'm still trying to justify why after 20 years, I just put on my 21 years, I'm thinking about choking one of my coworkers. So I said, okay. Now, you know, if you've ever dealt with mental health, they have the TSP, NP, or DSP, or DSM, right? So to break it out, because I'm still arguing about my depression, and they do the checklist, and I hit every one of them. And I said, nah, this wasn't written for me, it was written for white people. You have to understand my people. So the lady said, well, how about this? We'll send it to another doctor. So she sent me to another doctor, and he was brief before I got there, and I was real much. He broke out the same manual and gave me the same test, and I hit every one of them. Now, some of the things I was doing to cook was drink. Sailors, we drink. Some of us, most of us, we drink. But my level of drinking was above it. And this is how we found out. The doctor said, "Do you drink?" I said, "Of course, I'm a sailor, we drink." Trying to find humor in it. He said, "How much do you drink?" I said, "A glass of wine." He said, "Just a glass?" I said, "Yes, just a glass." He said, "How big is the glass?" And I said, "Is the glass big enough to fit a bottle of wine?" So what I would do, it was a mason jar. I'm not bougie, so I drink my alcohol from a mason jar. But the mason jar was big enough to fit a bottle of wine. So technically, it was a glass of wine. And he said, "Do you know that there are 5 glasses of wine in a bottle of wine?" I said, "No, because I would drink one." And I'm still not wrapping my mind around what he was saying. So he said, "Okay, so you pour the bottle into the glass and then you just sip it?" I said, "No. I pour the wine in the mason jar and I put a straw in it because it's wine, so it technically is juice, right?" And this man is looking at me like I had lost my mind. So he's like, "Senior, you know that you are potentially becoming an alcoholic. What are you talking about? It's just wine. But drinking it with a straw when you make it go down faster. So I didn't really think about it." He said, "How often do you drink?" Daily. And sometimes it wasn't just wine, it was shots. Tequila. Sometimes I would drink rum, and instead of mixing it with Coke, I would do shots of rum chasing the recovery. But I was an overachiever, so I could go to work and still do my job. So I didn't think it was a problem. So he said, Senior, I need you to stop. And then my mind clicked in my mind. I was trying to drink away my problem. I didn't want to deal with it. I was trying to drink it away. The other thing I was doing was I was shopping. Whenever I got depressed or felt down, I went shopping. Amazon, click the button to bring stuff, right? And because I was financially okay, I didn't think about it. I could pay my bills, nothing was late, but I was stockpiling things that I did not need. A lot of things. So the point where I had to get somebody to come help me declutter my house. I had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. One room was converted into a closet, and it had a closet. I also had my master closet with stuff in it, and it had a storage area. I just had too much stuff, and that's what we do. When we start feeling bad about ourselves, we try to compensate. We buy things, we drink, we even become friends with people that we normally would not be friends with. Because again, we are running. Did you give me the time? So today, I want you to look at me and say, if she can get up, turn her life around, and still deal with being depressed, it is a daily thing for me. At this point in my life, I attend counseling religiously. I take my meds. I know when I don't take my meds, what happens. When I don't take my meds, well, let me talk about how I got on meds. It took 2 years for them to convince me to go on medication because I felt like it was something in my head. And if it was something in my head, I could talk it out. But it wasn't working. Now, some people will tell you, just pray it away. Pray about it. I did that. I had lots of conversations with God. I did that. I said, I don't know what it is that I'm not doing right, or what it is that I need to do, but something is wrong with me. I refused the medication because, again, my mindset was, technically, there's nothing wrong with my life, but I'm feeling sad. Sad to the point where I would get off work on Friday, and I would not get off my couch till Monday. I would cry for no reason, technically no reason, doesn't matter what it was, but I would just cry. And it wasn't a good cry like they do on TV, the ugly cry where you have, now I'm sitting there looking at myself like, this is really ugly right now. Nobody cries pretty when they're upset. And then I said to myself, prayed about it, talked about it, cried about it. You gotta do something else. So hence the medication. I cried when they gave me the medication because I was thinking now it's just, I just moved on to something else. But I can tell you, after 6 months of taking my medication, I started to get back to myself. At this point, they had given up on me in my military career. I had given up on myself too. But I was at my 21-year mark, and all this madness is going on. And since I just got promoted, I had to do 3 years to get paid. Right? So I still have 2 years to go. I ended up getting on my medication, slowly getting my life together. And one of the things I had to do was because again, those things made me sad now. I got a lady because I couldn't do it myself. I was actually feeling like, you want to know the show Hoarders, Buried Alive? That's how I felt. The only difference was mine was organized and pretty. And so when she came in, she did something that a lot of people don't think about. God. She prayed about it. And I said, so I'm going to talk to God about my daughter too. And she laughed and I laughed, but she prayed about it because she knew it was going to be tough for me. And when we went through, we found things that I had never worn. I didn't even know I had. We found things that were duplicates of what I had. And I ended up donating, and the way she justified it to me is we're holding on to this stuff, which is part of your dark days. And there's somebody out there that can use them. So we're gonna give them away. I had a meltdown. I cried because again, these were my things. And I had spent my money on them. By the time we got done, I had to donate 200 pairs of shoes. I wasn't going anywhere. I was in my house. We donated so much clothing. And when I sat there and looked at the value, monetary value, because I do finance it, close to $20,000 that I spent in approximately 3 years on buying stuff like that. So when that was done, I decided that I'm going to start talking about it. Now, let me tell you one of the things that hurt me when I first started talking about it. It was a day that I was just fighting to stay alive. It wasn't just making it through the day. I was fighting to stay alive. And I ran into one of the male sailors, and he said, I haven't seen you in a while. I stopped going to functions. I haven't seen you in a while. And I said, yeah, I'm just dealing with some stuff, dealing with some depression. And he said, oh, you're not depressed. You're just trying to get a disability. Oh, wow. I took a deep breath and I looked at him and I said, I have to be alive to get disability. So I also have to remember that when I talk to people about depression and how it looks, which anybody, it does not discriminate. It absolutely does not. It doesn't matter how much money you have, because if you think about it, there are people that have millions of dollars that commit suicide. And you thinking, if only I had that money. You know, it does not age, color, nothing, race, doesn't matter. Now, most of us can get sad and get over it. That's not what depression is. Depression is when you are in this hole and the hole just keeps getting deeper. And nothing can bring you out of it, no matter how you try. That's when you have to say, you know what, I need help. Asking for help was tough for me because, again, I didn't think I needed help. I know by sharing my story, I've had people inbox me and tell me, thank you for saving their lives. They were just at that point. And they said, if you, with everything you have going on, can be depressed, then I know I'm not alone in this game. I have walked people to the clinic when I was still stationed in Maryland and said, you know what, they need help. We have to take care of each other. When you are with your family and you see something wrong, don't just chalk it up as they having a bad day. Because they could be having a bad month. You just have seen them for that day. Talk to them, ask them what you can do to help. The last thing I want to talk about is, if you're suffering from depression like I am, don't hold your family and friends hostage. We do that. And we do that by, they don't know what to say to us. They don't know what to do to make us feel better. You have to give them permission to live your own lives. You have to say, it's okay, this is not about you, it's about me. Because if I'm in a relationship and the person is upset and not talking to me, I think I have done something wrong. But if he says to me, well, I'm just having a bad day, it's not about you, I would say, you know what, I'm here for you, let me know when you're ready to talk about it. We have to do the same for the people that love us. And in closing, I want to say something about Miss Jen. We were at Whip Lyman's house on don't know if you remember, we were sitting outside. And she said, I think I want to do this. I'm nervous about it. And I said to her, if that's what you want to do, then do it. That was before our first conference. Here we are, 22 conferences. And I am humbled to call you my sister. And I wasn't passionate or going through hell. I call it hell. We would go to lunch. And the whole time we're at lunch, we were just talking about and we were talking a lot about life. And you do not know how much that meant to me. To be able to have a friend that I could call, I could text and say, I need you. I just need to see you. I just need a hug. And you were always there, no matter what you have going on. Life is about meeting the right people. And you're my right person. I thank you for all that you do. I know this was tough on you because we were supposed to do this last year, but here we are. I thank you for not giving up, for not being stoppable, because there are so many things that can stop you in life. Friends that you depend on, that bail on you, and not only bail on you, talk about you. People that you know you were supposed to count on just disappear on you. People that make promises that are people. But I want you to know that you are truly unstoppable. And I love you with everything I am. And I am blessed to know you.
These tears are so many people need to hear the authenticity and the transparency that Hope is gave. It's not easy expressing the anxiety, depression, the medications, everything that you go through. And I too deal with anxiety and depression and have experienced many times where I just want to give up. But I praise God for throwing me a life preserver and me having the wisdom and discernment to reach out and take hold of it. Because Satan knew that you needed to say this and be here at this point moment for so many people to hear. And even though they might not be in this room, or there's tons of people virtually, it's being recorded. It will be available on the YouTube channel. Being unstoppable is to know that you're not alone. That you're not alone. And that's why it's so important, like my nephew said, there's certain people that can be along with you on a mission. Not everybody's going to understand why you want to seclude yourself in your house, or you don't want to talk to someone, or how you feel like you're going crazy and that the world is caving in on you. And we can be so sanctified and Christian to where we lose sight that yes, you pray for that person in spiritual warfare, but there's more that needs to be done for that person to get back to center. We don't want to be so heavily high where we're no earthly good. And Satan, he'll just put us, has us against the ropes. But we fight our way out. And we get the counseling that we need. And we implement self-care strategies and techniques. That's what I keep on posting. Because you got financial, you have your occupation, you have emotional wellness, you have physical wellness. There's like 7 different categories. And if you are not practicing self-care to be balanced in each of those areas, when life happens, it throws you off balance. So Hope, I love you, my sweet sister, my ride or die. It's an honor to know you. I learned so much from you. And God is good. God is good.